Welcome back everyone to my second Let's Play of Final Fantasy 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System played on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, Albert, Beez, Chip, and Nichols learned that they have to travel back 2,000 years into the past to confront the true evil, which sent the fiends forward in time to cause chaos in this era. So, by placing the 4 lit orbs on the black orb in the center altar in the Temple of Fiends, they're able to create a time portal to travel back 2,000 years in the past. So here we are, 2,000 years in the past, to the Temple of Fiends, which has gotten much, much bigger. So we got the toughest enemies, basically, in the game. A lot of dragons. So you can see here we got some of these frost dragons from the ice cave. So, yeah, this is a big endurance test. It's gonna be pretty tough with our characters because we don't have, healing. We have minimal healing with Bert and Beez, and then we still got our 99 heal potions. But unlike the first time I went through, where I had the red mage and the white mage, Marty and Fibs respectively, these guys don't have a lot of healing. Where Marty and Milo, Marty and Fibs had a bunch of healing spells. So, in order to help sustain our hit points, a lot of times you're going to be seeing Chip using that heal staff of his. So I'm just going in this room here just to show it off here. But yeah, over in the basement here, the basement 1, all the basement floors are all elemental floors. I didn't get into any encounters there. But your first basement is going to be the earth floor, the second basement is the fire floor, third basement is the water floor, fourth basement is the air floor, and then the fifth basement is where the big evil is at. So, but before we get to the basement, we have to climb up, and then we're going to have to climb all the way back down. So, we don't have to climb too far up though. Third floor is the top floor. We're gonna have to do some hunting for some enemies here. There's 2 enemies that we want to encounter here. One of them is the mage enemy, or the fighter enemy, which was kind of a rare encounter in the Sky Castle. And then we have the gas dragon, which was the 1 in 64 encounter in the waterfall. So here we are. We have the fighter there. He's like a palette swap of the Astos and the mages. The mages are the ones on top. Fighter's the, I guess the blue or green or looking one on the bottom. So, but he's a fighter, but he casts a lot of magic spells. Or he has a little over a third chance to cast a bunch of spells. So, but we'll just take these guys out. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. So the mages are actually worse because they have that rub spell, but thankfully we got the pro rings to protect against that. So, well, there's 1 new enemy down. So there are 3 enemies that are only ever found in the Temple of Fiends, and I will. They are the worm, which can be found on the first floor. So we'll hunt that down when we're going back down. There's a mini boss in the room straight above us, the Phantom, which is kind of like an upgraded eye monster, and then on the air floor is the Iron Golem. Luckily only the Iron Golem is the 1 in 64, so if I don't get him on this trip, then I will definitely get him on the bonus episode where I get all these characters to level 50, just like how I did in the last playthrough, just to show how level 50 characters are. So Gash D's look like the blue D's. Little palette swaps, frost dragons and zombie dragons, and red dragons palette swap each other. So all characters are pretty tough. We're taking them out pretty easily here. So yeah, another thing is, besides having a lot of tough enemies, you'll notice that a lot of times the formations are very large. They're stacked. We run into like 4 frost dragons, 4 gas dragons, So they really pack in the enemies into each formation. So luckily, when we start getting to the elemental floors, the enemies can get a little bit easier. Because we're mainly fighting enemies that we fought when we were going through the initial dungeons. So like on the Earth Cave, we'll be fighting like Earth Elementals, Fire Cave, Fire Elementals, Water Elementals on the water floor, Air Elementals on the air floor. So there'll be usually more of them, but we're a little bit stronger, so that's a good chance to get our healing. So get some more chests here. Alright, bunch of money that we'll never use. And now we have to head to that plate there in the center. You may have noticed that when we, after we defeated the Phantom, there's a stone plate on the floor. You sense something evil. Yeah, you can press when we start there. I see there's a ladder underneath it. So, this is where you have to use the loot. I guess your clue for that is, remember, the loot was passed down for 2,000 years. That's what Princess Sarah said when you rescued her. So, you obviously have to use the loot somewhere, and the importance of it is, 2,000 years. So I guess you have to just put, 2 and 2 together and try an item that you never used before. So, I'm just showing off all these empty rooms here, which is okay because we're trying to hunt down a monster here, the Chimera. So you could have run into these in the Sky Castle, but they're, once again, extremely rare, so they're much more common here on the second floor. So I don't feel so bad about checking out these empty rooms, because I knew I'd have to be just walking around anyway to try to find these monsters. So, yeah, it really stinks when they, all the monsters also have these multi-targeting attacks. Thankfully, though, we're protected from many of the multi-targeting attacks by the ribbons that Beez, Chip, and Nickels have, and then Bert has the dragon armor, which helps protect him from a lot of elements. So, because earlier those cremate spells could take off a lot more damage. So, but still, Bert and Beez are still probably like half their hit points. Probably everyone is. So. Chip and Nickels are doing a little bit better, but then again, they're in the back row, so they don't get targeted as much. But now, if you had an exit spell or a warp spell, you can get out of the Temple of Fiends. So it's a really great place to level grind, but, in both cases that I played, I didn't have access to those spells. First time because I didn't class change, and the second time, just these characters, even if, even though they are class changed, they don't have access to those spells, so. I totally forgot that I already looked at this thing, so I just wanted to go back, but that's okay, because, I need to get some steps in here anyway to force some random encounters on the first floor. Because like I said, we have to encounter the Worm enemy, which is only located on the first floor here in the Temple of Fiends. So yeah, we couldn't go right to the back this way, because there's, to the south there, on both the east and the western side, there's a passageway being blocked. Because we went down to the south west corner there earlier to go down the stairway to show off that earth floor room. So here's these worms, big sand worms from Dune, it looks like. Oh, taking one out right away. Chip getting our healing up there, our de facto white mage. Nick will also help with defensively later on when we get to some of the tougher floors, like the water floor and the air floor, with throwing up some white shirts to help our evasion. So here we are on the earth floor, we run into basically earth elementals, rock golems, mud golems, and green medusas are the main enemies here. But the biggest obstacle on this floor is going to be a refight with Lich. All the 4 elemental fiends are reborn, fighting their past selves, and in the past they're much tougher. I guess time travel took something out of them. So they all have 100 more hit points, and they all lose their weaknesses. So Lich is no longer weak to fire. Carry is no longer weak to the status ailments. You won't be able. Tiamat gains some resistances to Bane. Kraken loses weaknesses to lit. They also get some new skills and abilities, and that's why I'm healing all my characters up here right now, because Lich gains the nuke spell. Nuke is, you recall when I talked in the last episode with War Mech, Nuke can deal up to 400 damages on max damage rolls, and Lich has a 75% chance to cast it on his first turn. So, yeah, we don't want to... Well, and of course we hit it, and look at that. It did max damage to Boat and almost max damage to Chip. So, Boat and Nichols got a little bit easier there, but still, luckily, with 500 hit points, he's not too difficult. So managed to take him out pretty easily there. And now we can head down here and just off-screened, doing all that healing to heal up, get off all that, restore all those hit points that I lost. So here we are on the fire floor. Main enemies here are fire giants, agamas, and the fire elementals. And of course we're going to have to fight Carrie. We're also going to get 3 treasure chests on this floor. So Carrie's going to be basically a trap tile in front of the stairways going down there. But first we're going to head down this way. We're going to head to the right first, because we're going to drop some armor here. So we can't hold anything more. We're going to drop Nichols' Pro Ring. And we're going to pick up a Pro Cape, which is a shield item. You can just equip that real quick. We're going to go to the right first because there's actually a Pro Ring in the treasure chest on the left side. So we want that Pro Ring back. So this is the only way you'll be able to get both of these treasures is to get the Pro Cape first. That way we can have an empty slot to, when we drop the Pro Cape, to pick up that Pro Ring and get the defensive items that we want back on our characters. So, get a little bit more money. And now we're going to head over to the left. Get the second and third to the last treasure chests in the game. So there's only one more treasure chest after this floor. And nothing on the water floor. We've got some fire elementals here. Kept this battle in because we'll gain the level here. And like I said, you gain levels really fast in the Temple of the Fiends. So, but that could help out a little bit. So you might get your last attack multiplier. I don't think any of my characters will benefit from any of these levels, though, other than their hit points, because they're not going to get any more attacks from their levels. Nick can throw up a white shirt there. That'll obviously help our invasion. Cast Invis 2, so might have helped that one Miss Beez. So yeah, it's just a matter of, it's like I said, a big endurance test. So, luckily, like I said, the earth and the fire floor aren't too bad. They're a good place to gain your hit points back. So, if you want, you can almost sort of like grind on them in a little bit, you know. Grind hit points back, you know. Get to a point where, say, you have a weak enemy, like say like an Agama, throw up a whole bunch of Invis 2 so it can't hit you anymore. His little heat that he uses is a really weak spell. You can probably keep up with it with the heal staff, and then just have everybody else just use like an item that has no effect during their round of combat, so you stretch the combat out. So we're getting another chest over here, in this little room here. And it is going to be that second katana. So now Chip can get a katana here. Check out his status, 44,100. And that'll jack it up to the same as Nichols. So we'll get a little bit of extra attack. So, a little bit more. So yeah, so I guess the defensive sword has the same hit percentage as the katana, but it has less attack. So, defense you can use as an item to cast the Ruse spell, which is basically like Invis 2, but only on yourself. So, maybe got a little glitch there. the door reappeared below the door. Alrighty, let's head up to the staircase down and take on our second fiend, Carrie, who is not as difficult as Lich. Lich mainly because he has that nuke spell. Carrie's strongest spell is Fire 3, and once again we have the elemental protection against that, so... And she has a less chance to cast Fire 3 than Lich has to cast Nuke. Lich had a 75% chance to cast Nuke. Carrie has half that chance, so only 37.5. And look, our character's doing pretty good damage, so shouldn't take more than, 3 rounds, depending on how many hits Boat and Beez get. So yeah, we got the good katana there for Chip, and Nichols just finished it off. Nice. We're still going to get one more sword. The last treasure chest in the game is that best sword in the game that I mentioned previously, the Masmian, and that'll give Beez his final upgrade. So the water floor, mainly symmetrical, except for at the bottom. So the room to the south here that I'm about to enter, I'm gonna go, it's the mirror image of the one on the left here. I'll go down that one on the bonus episode to the right. But just, if you're picturing in your head, it's a mirror image of this floor, or this side right here. So yeah, you get out on the right side there, then you head back into the door up top here, and then you leave out the middle here. So let's head on down. And inside this narrow passageway off to the right is where we fight Kraken. So once again, we're going to want to heal ourselves up. It's 2 steps to the right of where we are. As you can see, we're almost going through our heal potions. So yeah, it's going to be like just the last playthrough that I did. We're going to run out of heal potions, but basically right at the end. So, but then we'll have to supplement with Boat and Beez' healing. So here's our overgrown octopus here. So now we're going to finally probably want to use our fast spells. So we'll just use one on Boat. He's our main damage dealer. Luckily, Chip was able to give him fast before he attacked, so that'll help cut down the amount of rounds of combo we have to fight Kraken. And that white shirt will help out with if he decides to attack. Luckily, he was dumb and did his lit too. So, good old Kraken with his 8 tentacles, he can hit 8 times. He's pretty strong with his attack power, so definitely want to fast to get rid of him as quick as possible and throw up those white shirts. So luckily Kraken was behaving himself pretty well, so woohoo! Here we are on the second to final floor, the floor, and that's where we'll pick up in our next episode. Take care, have a good day, thanks for following along, bye!